Welcome back to Amaroo Park. More Formula V action on the front row of the group. We've got Stephen David with Michael Cadden. Second row, Bernie Hanley, Frank Kleinig. Third row, David Smith, David Cutts. Fourth row, Norm Johnston, Chris Lewis. The fifth row, Brian Phillips, Peter Laddix. And row 6, Dennis Gillespie and Gerard Mannion. A full field of 24 starters. It's round 1 of the series.
And we bid farewell to Adelaide. Our viewers on ADS will catch you for the replay next weekend, next Saturday afternoon, of course, at 4:45.
The flag drops and car number 2, Stephen David, sitting on pole position, comes away very cleanly in the 40-odd brake horsepower Formula V. All of these machines identically powered, different chassis, but they must conform to very rigid specifications. Now, across the top of the hill, the new leader, Bernie Hanley. Where did he come from? From third to first. Oh, and one backs off, heading out towards the outside of Dunlop Loop the wrong way. Car number 16 is Chris Lewis, and rejoins once again. Hanley leading from Stephen David.
Down towards Honda Corner, and Bernie Hanley, who won the prelim earlier today, is in the best possible position at this stage. He leads the field down to the right-hander at the lake corner.
The black car number 3 is Frank Kleinig on the left-hand side of screen. Hanley, David and Kleinig.
It's about the order they finished in the prelim earlier today at Amaroo Park, with Bernie Hanley going across the line. Pole sitter Stephen David still holding second. There he is in car number 2, and Frank Kleinig in the black number 3 car just tailing him as they go to the top of the skyline again.
Queenslander Ian Simpson took away this title from Bernie last year. As we look here at Frank Kleinig, good pass, nicely done. Gets out very wide though, might leave the gate open, but manages to scuttle back just in time.
I think that'll probably rouse Stephen David. He's got some chasing to do back towards the leaders. They're broken up into little groups, the swarming V's. They head down to Honda Corner. I tell you what, no matter how much technology they put into Formula V's, Bernie's car always looks the same, goes just as well, and he collects more trophies than anyone else.
Bernie's got quite a reasonable gap now as he comes into the late corner, and somebody there has bailed out of the car, exiting the tight right-hander. That's not a good place to park, is it?
Not at all. The flaggies are very quickly on the scene, telling all the drivers one time past there, they'll know the car's there for the rest of the race.
Henley leads, Kleinig. Stephen David is in third place in the race as they go over the top of the hill once more, and the car holding down 4th spot at this stage is number 25, and that's Michael Cadden.
Or he was. David Smith up there now in the yellow car. Young Michael did a driving course with me out here at Amaroo Park about 6 months ago and showed a lot of promise. He's a pretty determined young driver.
Must have learned a bit more than some other people
that we know.
I knew this had happened.
Here's the scrap, number 8. Cadden right there behind him. They head down to the lake corner. They have their own little dice going. Looking for 5th place. Well, they're dicing for 5th anyway. There's the scrap. Bernie leading the crew. Oh, that too, that worries me a little bit.
Worries you, it worries the owner.
The only reason that it worries me is last year they had a couple of Group E cars that were parked there, and in about the last lap, 3 guys who got the OPSM award all arrived and ran into the back of the car.
I tried to parallel park mine there at 110 kilometres an hour. It's no fun at all.
Here's the scrap. Frank Kleinig running in 2nd spot. Stephen David is 3rd. And bustling Bernie continues to lead the fleet.
Stephen David finished 3rd in last year's series. We look there on the right-hand side of the screen and see another car off the circuit. Kleinig under pressure.
Well, a few casualties haven't reduced the traffic all that much. Big field for this race, capacity field, in fact. And they're starting to come up on the tail enders now. Won't be long before they'll be getting into the slower traffic. There's one of them, the red car just going through.
Without a nose on the front of it, car number 87.
Sterling Craig, driving a Prometheus.
I don't know where they come up with the name.
Glad you said that.
Bernie Hanley leads across the line, heading up Vee. Frank Kleinig a little closer this time, and Stephen David is very, very close indeed to Frank Kleinig. Have a good race going here as they crest the top of Nissan Skyline and drop into the loop. I think Bernie does this at half race distance, just takes a breather, lets them all catch up, and then blows them away for the remaining 5 laps. I mean, you can't really take Bernie seriously. Any man that dropped out to last and came back to win it in the last corner here last year. Great little performer. And despite the fact that he is a regular winner here, regular winner wherever he races Formula V's, poor old Bernie's still chasing all that sponsorship. There's one that's not going the full distance.
Robin Keatley from Victoria.
A long walk back. They're getting a bit closer to Bernie there. I think Frank Kleinig's starting to get serious about mounting some sort of a challenge.
Here they come across the line, up the hill at Amaroo Park. Now you can see how the field has thinned out just a little. I have been used to seeing the Formula V races here with about 5 or 6. Yes, we've had a change of position at the top of the hill, and Frank Kleinig goes through the lead.
Halfway mark, 5 laps to go.
Oh, Bernie does this all the time. He knows what television exposure's all about. And don't be surprised if he can come back. Stephen David making overages. Bernie just pokes the nose down to let Kleinig know he's going to have a race for 5 anyway. David's car a little smoky. They run downhill into the left-hander. And coming out of the bend, David closes right up on the tail of Bernie Hanley. Thinks about a shot down here on the inside. Bernie says, just sit in behind here and go for the draft for a lap or so. Frank Kleinig in car number 3, the Mako, comes out of Camalco Wonderlic turn, back across the start-finishing line and up the hill. And Bernie goes for it on the outside, to the top of the hill. Oh, look at David trying to just poke a wheel in there and get in with it.
I think he might have done it too.
Yes, he has. And guess who's in front again?
Yeah, and guess who's second?
Stephen David, the poor guy that took all the chances early. Frank Kleinig has now been shuffled back to 3rd. And whether David's got enough to go on with Hanley, we'll have to wait and see. They take the run downhill now to Honda Corner. Oops, Kleinig down under the inside and takes back 2nd. That's how easy it all happens.
There's a really tiny blink around this circuit at Amaroo Park, particularly in these little cars.
Just think a lap ago, David was making all the moves on Bernie Hanley, and now he's back to 3rd place again. And the Supervet is back in front.
Oh, gee, they've streeted the rest of the field.
Have they what? You couldn't get enough money on Hanley from here, could you, Walker?
I wouldn't think so. He's got a little bit too much experience, I think.
He's got the staying power. Great scrap going on for 2nd because Kleinig wants that back. Thank you very much. And David says he wants a bit of it too coming out of the corner. But a good line, good exit line there from Frank Kleinig. Sees him back into 2nd. Stephen David with it all still to do.
Notice we've got 3 radically different body shapes here, and the end result is 3 identical cars in terms of performance. And Bernie's car, of course, is just about as old as Bernie. Identical 1200cc Volkswagen engines, standard suspension and brakes, standard Volkswagen wheel size on radial tyres.
Man running 3rd there in car number 2, Stephen David, is the lap record holder here in Formula V.
Coming across the line with about 2 laps remaining. Here's David making his move again on Frank Kleinig. Here's where the action is as they go to the top of Vee. Kleinig back. And David pops in for 3rd as they go through the loop and now down the back part of the course. About a lap and a half remaining. 3 Mazda and 2 Honda now. A good way to start the season for Bernie Hanley, the prelim and the main. He's in front with a lap and a quarter still to run. Kleinig getting closer. Whether or not he can mount a challenge on Bernie Hanley, we'll have to wait and see. Bernie Unibot appear to be the fastest Formula V driver in Australia. I'll guarantee there's not too many as smooth as the veteran. And he comes across to take the signal now with 1 lap to go. And coming straight up behind him again, Frank Kleinig and Stephen David. In fact, could be a little challenge on here on the inside. Yes, and Frank Kleinig takes back the lead. Don't blink anyone. There's still 3/4 of a lap to go.
Well, Bernie's really going to have to pull something out.
He's about to do it. Now, Kleinig will cover this little inside shot, will he? Down the inside. Here, look at David setting up for a big run around the outside. They're all in. Last left-hander coming up. And Kleinig goes in. Bernie's going to have to fight from here, though, let me tell you. Now, he's caught out again.
Stephen David's the man to watch here in car 2.
If he zips down the inside of Kleinig, I don't think he can do that. Bernie's going to go in deeper than anyone. They come into the late turn, and they're all still fighting for racing room. Frank Kleinig, they're coming up to the last corner, almost 3 abreast. Kleinig will lead them out of the turn. And coming down to take the checkered flag, it will in fact be Frank Kleinig. He takes it. 2nd spot goes to Bernie Hanley, and 3rd place to Stephen David. And here's the 2nd group coming in to fill 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Great race. The opening round of the Coca-Cola Bottlers Formula V Series here this afternoon at Sydney's Amaroo Park Raceway. And what a great last lap of the race. And of course there were 1 or 2 incidents during the event. They all basically centered around the group. Let's have a look at what happened early. They came into the first turn. Guy getting it around sideways.
That was car number 16, Chris Lewis, who backed his way out of the Dunlop loop. Round again, thank you. Put her in first gear and try again.
Yes, he was lucky to get away with that, and of course most of the field had already gone by. Let's check the Castrol scoreboard shortly to confirm the placings as they went across the line. No doubt about who's picked up victory though. I think Bernie Hanley thought he had it in the bag completely, but it hasn't worked out that way.
Well, where Kleinig came from, I do not know. He was back in 3rd. Confirmation of placings on the Castrol scoreboard. The winner, Frank Kleinig. 2nd placing going to Bernie Hanley, and 3rd placing, Stephen David. We've seen the winners, and Gary Wilkinson talks to them after this break.
Takes a good man to beat the old fox Bernie Henley around Amaroo Park. Frank Kleinig, congratulations.
Thanks, Gary. Well, I guess we give the little square head something to think about. Actually, I was going to borrow his speech because he's up here quite a lot and I'm not. I didn't have a prepared one. It was a bit race. I didn't know till the 2nd last lap. You know, I had a reasonable chance.
I don't think anybody knew until the 2nd last lap. There was quite a lot of jockeying for position there.
Well, that's what it's all about.
I guess so. I think Bernie writes the script for a lot of these races, and when you'd gone through 5 laps and suddenly you slipped through to take the lead, we thought it was Bernie just giving somebody a shot, but by gee, you really proved it in the final stages with Stephen David as well, boxing in there as well. Made it pretty tough.
Yeah, they kept me honest. I think I kept them honest. Us oldies are still there, aren't we?
Congratulations. Big effort to win the opening round of the Coca-Cola Bottlers Formula V Series here at Amaroo Park for 1986. Frank Kleinig, congratulations.
Thanks,